Well, and welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is a wacky Wednesday, and here we are. Tell you what, I've had a hell of a day. I feel like fist fighting and fucking. I don't know which is going to come. I couldn't take it. Just the way shit is going, folks. The way I'm looking at what's going on in Washington, D.C. We are occupied. We have been invaded. We have domestic and foreign tyranny. And just to relax a little, I sat back and watched the helicopter attack scene from Apocalypse Now. If you haven't seen that before, it starts off really nice. Fucking Army Air Cav does a helo attack on a bunch of communists, and just gives you a sense of justice. And one of Hollywood's most famous war lines comes from that scene where Robert Duvall says, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning. It smells like victory." And anyways, folks, we have tyranny all around us. And when you see tyranny and you've experienced tyranny, you want to stop tyranny. Now, people that are victims of tyranny, many of them are saying, look at what Abraham Lincoln did. Now, I'm no big fan of Abraham Lincoln because of what he did. At the same time, according to, the Constitution itself, it permits the suspension of habeas corpus. Article 1, Section 9, when rebellion or invasion strikes. Do we or do we not have both now? Both rebellion and invasion. We have rebellion in the form of Antifa, BLM. We have rebellion in the form of judges disobeying the Constitution, overstepping their authority. That's rebellion. That is judicial rebellion and insurrection. You have politicians in Washington, D.C., and at state capitals around the country, and in city councils around the country. They are rebelling against law and order. And then we have invasion. We have Palestinian invasion, Somali invasion. You have North African invasion. And now we're, by all appearances, we're getting Palestinian invasion, folks. They're shipping them over. Somebody in the State Department, and they're not admitting who, somebody authorized bringing these out of their fucking mind, just crazy. Whether intentional or no fault of their own, they've been shell-shocked, attacked, victimized. They've been radicalized everywhere in Gaza because of what Israel's been doing to those people. And I don't want them here. I don't say bring a bunch of foreign Muslims to our country so they can express their PSTD and anger toward Israel by looking at us. Tell me, shit hasn't hit the fan, huh? Arrests, military tribunals, war powers is now. It looks to be the only way out of the foreign and domestic enemy problem, who now seems to be in control of Washington, D.C., and even in control of the president. Look at the battles we're facing domestically. Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, hands off. They just sit back and watch us destroy ourselves or be destroyed by an invading, invasive, parasitic, anti-American, immoral, murderous regime. And I'm going to point to the usual suspects: the World Economic Forum, global interests, and anti-Christian fundamentalists. People go, you're a Christian fundamentalist. How about you guys are fundamentally anti-Christian? There's three main religions on the world that are involved in the West. You've got Judaism, you've got Mohammedanism, and you have Christianity. Only one of those three says it's not okay to rape murder, kill, lie, and victimize children. The only one, Christianity. The other two have no problem with it. We are at war, folks. World War III is hit domestically and internationally. I don't know if you expected this on a wacky Wednesday, but here we are. How do we fix it is the big question. How do we fix it? Well, not by sitting back, not by being nice. Voting hasn't done a damn thing. How do we fix it? Now get this. There is an official invitation from Vladimir Putin to President Trump. He's extended the hand of friendship to Trump to come visit Moscow. Well, that's what Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said. And the only reason Russia would extend the invitation, is to infuriate the globalist puppets in the European Union and to infuriate the World Economic Forum. Once again, folks, the World Economic Forum hates nationalism. They hate individual countries. And they absolutely hate our solidarity as a people. They do. They hate humanity. The World Economic Forum has a eugenics program. They want 90% of the world's population killed. They do not like nationalism because that's what all countries are doing right now. They're pulling back saying, we got to protect ourselves. We don't know what the hell's going on in the world, right? That's what globalism is doing. And by the way, the new leader of the World Economic Forum, in case you weren't aware, is Larry Fink of BlackRock Investments. Larry Fink, beloved of Israel, bending trillions of dollars. They control, folks, trillions of dollars. They are the ones who pushed woke on all of us. Larry Fink and others like him pushed woke on America to try and break us. Woke, diversity, equity, inclusion, environmental, social governments, ESG. They pushed the Lincoln Project. They pushed everything. Everything that's anti-American we've been battling, including LGBTQIA pedophilia. They pushed it on us with all this rainbow shit. Everyone may or may not remember that BlackRock was blackmailing corporations, saying if you don't put diversity, equity, inclusion board members, meaning unqualified minorities, unqualified homosexuals, unqualified transgenders, then they were going to cancel. They were going to eliminate investment in those companies, meaning they would intentionally short them and then have everyone sell off and destroy those companies. I don't know why that isn't economic blackmail, economic extortion, why that wasn't a crime. Oh, I can tell you why. Because the federal government was already in their pocket so that they could get away with it. That's exactly where they were. Now, some companies went into diversity, equity, inclusion so far they broke themselves. The main company I can think of is none other than the car company Jaguar. Jaguar, one of the all-time great automakers of the world. The way to find a Jaguar dealership is to follow the oil trails behind the cars, right? That's the joke. But iconic designs, symbology, iconic, beautiful luxury cars. They went totally woke and had a bunch of fruitcake, light in the loafers, twinkle-toed, just the worst looking people in one car commercial that had no cars. And within a month, they lost 97% of their business. That was it. Killed them right there. That's what woke did. Target, right? The shopping store Target also did it. And now their CEO has resigned because sales have plummeted. Remember, Target wanted to put Baphomet, a satanic symbol, right? Basically a man with a goat's head and breasts. The fuck is that all about? Oh, it's Baphomet, the devil. They wanted to put that in clothing. And they did. And then they wanted to put all of this gender bender shit in there. Compression shirts so the girls' boobs wouldn't show. Weenie tuck underwear so boys wouldn't have a bump. They just play it into this fucking thing all the way, right? Folks, woke needs to die. It's dying. But the core base of them, the 1% are going to hang on as long as possible, like cancer. In fact, you could liken the entire battle against individual national sovereignty, individual personal rights, our lives, everything. It's like cancer. One side has to win and one side has to die. It's terrible, though. The cancer and the parasites, they think they can kill us and that they're going to be fine. What happens when cancer and parasites kill the host? Well, the parasites die also. They don't see it that way, folks. They don't see it that way. All right. Mr. Uman today watched a Tucker Carlson video where he says they really did a great job explaining some details. We got the link is going to be in the, I think in, not just in the description right here. It's a Dave Collum interview. I've been listening to Dave Collum for a few years off and on. He's an intellectual, good speaker, got a lot of interesting ideas, but Uman really liked the interview, recommends that we watch it. I strongly recommend watching it because what we talk about here on this little ridiculous channel, The Prepared Mind, and other ridiculous prepper, America First, Patriot, Veterans channels, we all talk about the same things, but understand we're not isolated. We're not these little things. We are collectively, folks, we have a strong understanding of what is happening, what has happened, and where this is leading. We're not alone. We're not fringe. We're not conspiracy theorists. It is mainstream and it's understood. Woke needs to die. The World Economic Forum is pissed. Russia is now in the catbird seat. They can't be controlled by the United States of America, or it would have happened already. They can't be controlled by China, or it would have happened already. Russia is now watching the world turn and squirm as they can't decide whose side they need to be on or how to fix their problem that they created. The European Union is a cancer also, folks. It's living off of Europe while it kills Europe. It's interesting. They almost act like they don't know why it's happening. Unfucking believable. Anyways, that's Dave Collum there. Everyone get your comments, thoughts, questions, observations, predictions, prognostications, and your wisdom down into the comment section. You're here live on the preparedmind.club, on X, and subscribestar.com. Right? That's how you can be here live in the afternoon, Monday through Friday, where we do my monologue and then your guys' thoughts as well. So get them down below now. We're going to have a hell of a show. We've just started. And there's more shit coming out of the horse. And once a horse starts shitting, you aren't going to be able to stuff it back in there. It comes out and it's done. You cannot stuff the shit back into the horse. So here's an example of that. How often have we said this? Ukraine is losing men well over 1 million dead. Not to mention injured, right? The facts have come out, folks. Somebody hacked the Ukrainian government database. Somebody. And they've released it. This has come out of Kiev. 1.7 million casualties. since the beginning of the war against Russia. It's not 100,000. It's not 500,000. It's not even 1 million. It's 1.7. And how, if those numbers came out of Ukrainian database, how much do you want to bet that even those numbers are skewed to the downside so that officially it looks low? But they're lying to us. They're lying to us in the media in Europe, the media in the United States. We have the governments of Europe and the government of the United States lying to everybody, trying to make it look like Ukraine is just about to win this. Well, they've now fact-checked themselves. I tell you. But what's more, if they lie about the death tolls and the casualties, could they not also lie about the weapons that we sent them and where they went and who got them and who they sold them to? Could they not lie about funding? How much money did the United States actually send? How much did they actually send? How much was actually stolen by Zelensky and other Ukrainian big shots? Right? We know that when the war started getting nasty, a bunch of Ukraine bureaucrats and politicians fled Ukraine, and a bunch of them were caught with suitcases full of cash. European notes, the EUs, right? The euros, and then also United States dollars. Suitcases, millions and millions and millions and more millions. And that's just what was caught. Could they not also lie about all of the fraud, the theft, the murder? They've lied about the off-the-charts corruption. The answer is yes. They've lied about all of it. Absolutely all of it. Chickens are coming home to roost, folks. They truly are. We're under attack right now. The United States of America is under attack. Domestically, we have an invading force of anti-American, anti-law and order, anti-Christians. We have an invading force of gangsters out of Central and South America. We have an enemy to the south of us, an enemy to the north, the east, and the west. They're everywhere. They're here now. We have institutions of government and institutions of business that are at war with us, the United States of America, and the good people of the world. Do we have doubts? Look around. You have big pharmacy, government bureaucracy telling you to go get an injection of poison, toxins, and unknown biological agents that are designed intentionally to try and change your inner workings. They're even coming up, get this, they're getting a fucking bacteria, and they want to put it in mosquitoes and have that mosquito bite you, and then you can no longer eat beef because you end up catching this disgusting, filthy biological agent that makes you allergic to beef. It'll make you sick. It'll fucking kill you. That's how they can get you to quit eating meat. This is their plan. This is what they're doing. They're not thinking about it. They're not planning it. It's already been thought about, planned, executed, designed, created, implemented, and it's packaged, and it's now being shipped into our world. And people think that we're conspiracy theorists. Listen to what Bill Gates is saying. He's not fucking hiding it. The world is calling for his arrest and Dr. Fauci's arrest, and they're not getting it. Why not? Why can they not be arrested? Why not? Isn't that a great fucking question to ask? The biggest, right? The most corrupt nation on earth, Ukraine. How bad is it? It's horrifying. But how much worse is the countries that control it? knowing it's corrupt, and are using it knowing it's corrupt. We're at war, folks. We have elements within our government trying to do good things. I know and I believe that some of the Trump administration is trying to do a good job. Pete Hegseth is trying to do a good job. Tulsi Gabbard is trying to do a good job. I know in his heart somewhere RFK Jr. wants to do a good job, but they all keep fucking up. Marco Rubio wants to do a good job, but they still keep getting these shills from Europe and Israel that keep planting shit in their heads, lying to them. Now get this, folks, the Washington Post has doxed, meaning released sensitive information about the security detail for the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. The Pentagon and their spokesman are pissed. Florida's representative Republican Anna Paulina Luna is demanding an investigation and says, quote, treason won't hide behind a press badge. Yeah, the Washington Post is releasing information. Oh, okay, so we want an investigation, huh? How many fucking times have we heard that? Will Pam Bondi do anything? Will Cash or Bongino arrest anybody? When are they going to catch and arrest anybody? No, never. No, hell no. They're not going to do a damn thing. I am absolutely fucking irate and pissed off. Can't you tell? None of this is going to stop until there's blood in the streets. I'm not asking or telling anyone to do anything dangerous or harmful. I'm not inciting violence. I'm saying this is not going to stop. What the anti-American, anti-Christian, anti-moral, anti-European, anti-world types will not stop until there's blood in the streets. How can the most radical anti-American, anti-life, anti-decent people keep getting elected to office? How's that even possible? Unless the system is completely rigged, controlled, and it's planned so that you can't rise to these higher levels unless you're a fucking sellout and a traitor and a piece of shit. And they're all lined up. They're all lined up. Remember how Kash Patel, remember how Dan Bongino talked on social media. Right? They're just like politicians. They talk a big fucking story, how tough they are. And if I were in power, this is what I would do. And then they get in power and they don't do a fucking thing, right? Fact? No. Right. The facts are the facts. These people won't make an arrest. So even their own administration, Pete Hegseth, his security detail, it's the details of which, how it works, who it operates, who's in it, it's being leaked. Washington Post, you just lost your fucking license. They should be shut down. All right, you want to be a fucking media? You can do it without special credentials, special passes, special information. You can be just like every one of the rest of us fucking rabble-rousers and sit out here and wonder what's going on. It's unfucking believable. It truly is. And now we've got this. You want some more? Fuck, I've got some more for you. How about more mortgage fraud? Who have we been talking about with mortgage fraud? Adam Schiff. Mortgage fraud. Lied about everything October 7th. Lied about everything Russia collusion. Lied to Congress. Lied to the American people. Lied to the press. He got censured. Bad fruitcake. Right? Little twinkle toes cocksucker gets away with everything. Arrests? Pam? Cash? Dan? Nope. How about Letitia James, Attorney General, the state of New York? Guess what? Mortgage fraud. She should be arrested and tried. Both of them, mortgage fraud. That's what they went after Trump for. They arrested him. They drug him into court. They tried it. But they don't get in trouble. Now, a Biden-appointed scumbag Federal Reserve governor, don't you think somebody who's a Federal Reserve governor ought to know about the law? Ought to know about finance requirements? So Trump tells Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook to resign today. Why? Because Bill Pulte, the U.S. Federal Housing and Finance Agency, he is the head of that. He criminally referred this bitch, Lisa Cook, to the Justice Department for mortgage fraud. A Federal Reserve governor appointed by Biden, mortgage fraud. Number 3. Now, is she a big shot, Lisa Cook? Nah, she's just a Federal Reserve governor. I don't even know what the fuck she does. Federal Reserve is a private bank. It's a quasi-pseudo-government organization, right? According to Bill Pulte, who did the criminal referral, Lisa Cook committed mortgage fraud by lying on her mortgage application and falsifying bank statements. Those are both fucking felonies. You're not allowed to do that. You can't fucking lie about stuff. How many more bureaucrats, Democrats, banksters, financiers, Republicans, how many more have committed fraud? And Bondi, folks, won't do shit. No Democrat deeds go punished. But you out there, you better not say the words Epstein or Israel or else. Right here we are, folks. Why not have a little bit of suspension of government restrictions so they can actually do something? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, or they'd have done it. I mean, Trump wouldn't have to suspend the Constitution or any portion thereof or any provision thereof if Bondi would do her fucking job and Kash Patel would do his fucking job. Instead, someone hands them papers and they play hot fucking potato, like someone took the potato and wound the timer up and they hand it to someone else so that they're not holding it. Well, you know, I got it, but I handed it over to Congress. I handed it over to the Department of Justice. Pam Bondi gets it, goes, oh, shit. And she hands it over to someone else. This is a serious question. What are they afraid of? Who are they afraid of? Why are they afraid of them? Right? Who? Obviously, Israel and Mossad. That's Israel's CIA and the CIA. They're heavy hitters in this game. They can erase people and make them die. That's the who. The why? Why won't Pam do anything? Why won't Trump do anything? Why not? Why? Trump's already had a bullet pass through his ear, right by his head. He got the fucking message, folks. He got the fucking message. The Secret Service, the Sheriff's Department, the police departments, they'll back down in a fucking second. Kennedy was killed because the Secret Service backed off. The CIA was involved orchestrating the Italian mafia, Cuban exiles. You bet, folks. They had hired hitman from the CIA, and the Dallas Police Department backed off. And Kennedy was turned into Swiss fucking cheese. Not to mention head cheese, as his brains were splattered all over his wife and the back of the presidential Lincoln Mobile. I think Trump may have got the fucking message. So no one's doing nothing because they're all afraid. The who? What are they afraid of? Right? That's it. Now, what would I do in their job? I don't want to pretend to sound like I'm some kind of badass. Would I even take their fucking jobs? If I did, I knew it would be a fucking death sentence. You don't take that fucking job, not in today's world, unless you know you're going to die. And a lot of people argue that Kennedy knew he was going to die. He wasn't suicidal. He just knew he was going up against, back then, what was already termed the military-industrial complex, which was an unholy alliance between the CIA, the Pentagon, who was also involved in JFK's murder, by the way, and big business, military, industrial manufacturers. They had a whole lot of money to make. And it was President Eisenhower who warned America, and the very next president caught a bullet for it. Anyways, it's going to be one hell of a show. I'm curious what you guys are thinking about. What I want to do is switch over to you. Understand this, folks. Oh, yeah. If I were to take the job, I would have to go in. I would say my goodbyes to all my friends, all my family, all my loved ones, because I was going to have to do some shit that would likely cost me my life. And I would also tell the world, guess what? Dead man walking right here. It's time to make some shit happen. When you're a soldier and you're going to war, you know the odds are you're going to fucking die. Sometimes your odds are better than others, but you're going to fucking die. So you tell everyone, I'm deployed. I'm going into combat. Right? So there's no surprises. You know what's coming. These fucking people think they're going to take these jobs and they're going to save the world. No, they're not. They're taking the jobs as placeholders. They're fucking cowards. They don't even have the integrity and decency to fucking resign and let someone else take the fucking mantle. They're placeholders. They're liars and they're fucking actors. That's why there's zero respect, folks. Zero respect. I want to hear what you guys are thinking about. Woo! And we're back. Mr. Uman, I sure hope we got a good show lined up in front of us. Badass Diving Frog says, I don't believe Trump actually got shot in the ear. I've revisited this several times. I've watched the footage several times. A lot of craziness happened on that day. Was it Butler County? Now, Trump is talking. He turned his head, looked over at the screen, and the bullet supposedly went through his ear, missed his head, came screaming out the other side. Other people were hit in the stands. At least one guy shot and killed, right? The fireman. The Secret Service, at least several of them, jumped on Trump. And he stood up again. He had blood on his face. Blood on the side of his head. And he did his fight thing, right? The American flag, great picture, iconic. Was that real? Was it staged? Well, that was another key point in the campaign for president that really pushed people over to his side. Right? It was iconic. But he said, fight. Let me ask you this. How much fucking fight have we heard coming out of the Trump administration? We have fight in our veins, fight in our blood, fight in our voices. We're screaming for the fucking Epstein documents, screaming for the files, for the client list. And he turns around and calls us cowards and stupid and it's bullshit and it's a hoax. Where's the fight for what you know is the right thing? It looked and sounded like he was more like surrender. So as soon as you see that, we start thinking this. Did he actually get shot in the ear? Now, Trump has, when he was younger, participated in entertainment, world wrestling entertainment, right? He likes fighting. He goes to the MMA, UFC fights. He likes that sort of shit. He did his show, The Apprentice. So we know he's an actor. We know he likes physical action. It could have been faked. It could have been faked. At the time, we were all outraged, and disgusted by the idea of them actually faking that. Now, you, badass diving frog, may not believe it. For me, I'm just questioning everything. Could he have faked it? Yeah. While he's covered up, right? While he's covered up. But then we also had the shooting back at the guy on the roof. He was shot. The person we know nothing about. And then the police, the FBI showed up and used a garden hose to clean the roof off. The body was not where it was supposed to have been to make the shot that he made. Like, there's a lot of inconsistencies to the story. It's all very conspiratorial. Uman says, minor rally, and it was the only one that CNN showed up to. That's the only one CNN televised live. It is extremely suspicious, as Uman is pointing out. So why would CNN show up? Unless they knew he was going to be assassinated or an attempt was going to be made, or they knew it was a staged event and they wanted to get it on every one of their TVs at every airport around the country. Is that plausible? Is it possible? Yes. That someone leaked to CNN. The same way someone leaked to CNN to be at Roger Stone's house at 5:30 in the fucking morning when the FBI showed up to kick his fucking door in and arrest an old man who's nonviolent because they wanted the spectacle. So why did CNN show up? Here it is. Badass diving frog. Jog when the president gets shot at, the Secret Service rushes him off immediately. Why then did the Secret Service surround him and hold position? It was planned that way. I understand. They tackled him and held him down, and while down on the ground, they could have put blood on him, right? I get it. I get it. And then they stood him up, and he resisted and stood up above him and put his fist up in defiance, right? I get it. He's not supposed to do that. The Secret Service is supposed to hustle his ass, dragging his legs, his feet, picking him up, carrying him if they have to, covering his body with theirs and throwing him in the fucking super president mobile and getting him out of there. That's the job. Now, I understand tackling him and taking him down and not lifting him up because he's already on a raised platform. So he's above the crowd, off the ground, which means you're more visible from all angles, which is the whole point of being on a stage and speaking to a large audience, is to be visible. But you're also visible to what? Snipers, assassins, would-be assassins, wannabe assassins, whatever. So they held him down until they were secure. Okay, shooting's done. Now we're going to lift him up and get his ass out. I get it. It seems suspicious. Additionally, the Secret Service was there were amateurs. That wasn't the A team. That wasn't even the B team. They were so bad, so untrained that one of the Secret Service officers couldn't even manage to holster her weapon. That's how unskilled she was. You ought to be able to draw your service weapon and holster it like it's second nature, like grabbing your own balls. And for you ladies out there, adjusting your boobies, you know where they're at, you know how to do it. These people were that bad. It looks like, or could be believed, right? So is it plausible? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely they did that? However, likely or unlikely, we're never going to get the fucking truth. They told us a story. We got to see some footage, right? Mikey G says the shooter's body was cremated quickly to hide what? Who was the shooter? It was a guy named Crooks. Am I correct? Supposedly Crooks. Idiot-looking, nerdy, geeky motherfucker who was 17. He was already a head case, problems in his head. His parents had already complained about him. The FBI was in contact with him. Multiple channels of FBI contact. And he had accounts set up for himself through social media and who knows how many bank accounts internationally already. What kind of 17-year-old has that? Was he even a real human? Allegedly he was. Allegedly he was. He, along with a jackass, I think his name was Root, who was hiding in the bushes down at Trump's golf course to assassinate him. They were both in a commercial for BlackRock, which is run by CEO Fink, Larry Fink, who is now the head of the World Economic Forum, which is a eugenist organization comprised of billionaires. And he's also an Israeli. So this who did get shot on the roof is the question. We don't know because they never showed us his body. Never showed us the body. How do we know who it really was? Because they told us. They could have lied about that. They could have said, "Oh yeah, we got camera pictures of this Crooks guy on the bench sitting there. He's carrying a fucking rifle around, getting away with that." But who was the one that got on the roof? They told us they cremated the body. Who else did they do that to? Osama bin Laden. Muslims don't cremate themselves. They don't, right? So did they cremate Osama, or did they just wrap him in rocks and throw him overboard in the sea? Okay, but did they burn him up first? No, they just did an at sea, tossed him overboard. Thank you, Uman. The reason they do that, the reason they say they cremated him, we got no evidence. We got no proof. Right. Why didn't Adam Lanza look like one of his victims? Right. Why did the Hulk character and all the others? We got the wheelchair man and leg blown off man. We got all these characters at the Boston bombing. It's all fake. It's all bullshit. It's all plastic banana acting and stage shit. I completely understand why anyone would say, you know what, I'm not believing it. I'm not buying it. But on the other hand, up to that point, we all thought Trump was going to do a good job. He's coming back. He's pissed off. They arrested him. They fucked up. Now they shot him through the ear. He's going to kick some ass. It made it believable that he's going to come in there and clean fucking house. Instead, we get what? We get Pam Bondi. We get Kash Patel. We get Dan Bongino. We get nothing. No law enforcement. We got criminals, in government criminals, assaulting media, fucking committing mortgage fraud, lying, fucking treason. No arrests. It's all an act. So it's really easy to see. They may have already talked to Trump and said, look, you're going to knock your shit off. You can talk tough. You're going to win the election. But when you get in office, you ain't doing shit. And they said, well, we can either shoot you in the fucking head now, or we can fake a shot to the head. I don't know. I don't think this is going to end. There's no way this can end cleanly, folks. There's no way to vote our way out of this, in my opinion. There's no way to rationalize our way out of this. There's no way to logically explain. There's no way to take the Constitution and say, government, remember this? You have to do it this way. There's no way to make them do that because they don't give a fuck. Everyone that sues the government and says follow the law, they don't give a shit. They just do what they want. I don't mean to be so negative, but show me some evidence that we are clearly going to come out of all of these problems smelling like roses. Who's your life? What's up? Who's your daddy? He says, hey, Seems like my statement is the topic of today. And what more has to happen before we, the people, take charge and right the wrongs? Okay. Am I there, Ruman? I'm there? Okay. Screen blacked out. Don't know why. Right, YouTube? All right. So what has to happen before we, the people, take charge and right the wrongs? I wonder, Hoosier, is it before we, the people, right the wrongs and then take charge? You cannot take charge when evil's in control. You have to defeat the evil. You have to right the wrongs first. What are they doing in Serbia right now? They're protesting in Serbia. Why are they protesting in Serbia? Because the government has been shitting on the people. And finally, and this seems like a very unlikely situation, a building collapsed, killing a bunch of people because the government was corrupt, took a bunch of shortcuts, built a pile of shit, and it fell, collapsed, and killed people. And now we've got the CIA, you've got Interpol, you've got Mossad, you've got all these organizations over there fucking with Eastern Europeans because why? Because they do not want to put up with the World Economic Forum and allowing themselves to be invaded. And the people are sick of it. They're sick of having migrants shoved in their faces. They're sick of seeing their government absolutely corrupt and selling out. The people are sick of being killed. Right? What do we have in America? We have it good. We have it really good. We, the American people, have it so good. Think about it, right? One moment here. We have it really good. We're not hurting. Well, let me rephrase that. We're not hurt so bad that there's no other alternative. People are having a hard time with inflation, cost of living, healthcare. Right? People are getting sick. They jacked up everyone's health with the Jim Jones juice, but they're not hurting to the extent other nations are. We have the AKA wealth, AKA exorbitant privilege of having the world reserve currency, the US dollar, and that is literally evaporating right in front of us. Our economy, our banking system is once again ready to fail and crumble. Are they going to cut interest rates? Are they going to print a bunch of money? Possibly. More than likely. Because if they don't, they'll default. Government default means the world will never trust U.S. bonds again. Right? We lose our privilege as Americans. And we will go right down with everyone else. And then you're going to see. Then you're going to see problems get fixed. But there's going to be blood in the streets. Robin says, when things are stable, no action. We'll take something that throws the country into chaos, like an EMP, a debt collapse, or a foreign attack for the good guys to take this country back. Now, that's an interesting thought. Let's go through those one at a time. A foreign attack will not make Americans fight their own government. A foreign attack, the government will stand up and say, everyone stay calm. We'll save you by sending in the soldiers and the Marines and the Navy. And so we're all good guys up here, right? That would take our attention as Americans off the government, which is the problem, and put them on another country. But a debt collapse, our banking system, our monetary system, our treasury failing us, because the government has failed us, will put us in a situation where, yeah, we're going to look around and not blame a foreign country. We won't blame Russia or China, England or Japan, Ukraine or Israel. If our debt system, right, we have a debt collapse, we have a banking collapse, We have a monetary failure. We have a Wall Street failure. People are not going to look out at other countries. They'll look inward at our own country, and that could cause people to take some serious action. An EMP, that would definitely cause chaos. We would be dealing not with Washington, D.C., or even our state capitals. We would look where we're at in the 10 mile around us, and that's our world. Walking for one day becomes your world. EMP, cars won't work, television won't work, internet won't work, nothing will work. It's you and what you have, and you better pray you've got food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You better have all of those things. You're going to need some sort of power, whether it's a generator, solar panels, or a combination thereof, so that you can power your devices and keep some way, right? Also, I recommend wind-up radio. You can go to thepreparedmind.club and get these other items: communications equipment and power, in addition to the standard food, water, shelter, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to have to become self-sustaining. But yeah, at that point, good guys on the micro level will be cleaning house, because the stupid people are the ones who will be the most scared, the most hungry, the most thirsty, the most sick, and the most mentally retarded out there trying to make something happen. And they'll find it, folks. The FAFO world will come to them real quick. But taking the country back, Uman went right there. Taking the country back is not that easy. All it could mean is we have a regime change. We could end up losing any semblance of a country that had this. And we could end up with a dictatorship. Or we could end up with multiple dictatorships. Now, I would welcome a dictatorship of somebody who loves freedom and liberty, wants to set order straight, but needs to clean some fucking house. I know I'm a good guy. I've got nothing to fear. Does Washington, D.C., are they the good guys if they got nothing to fear? What about the state capitals? Are those the good guys with nothing to fear? No, they've all got problems. But we could end up with not someone who wants good things. We could end up with a Zelensky type. The worst guys. All the good guys could get taken out. The bad guys could say, hey, we're in charge now. Everyone, you're fucked. You thought you were free. You're not. You never were. It was all just a dream. So we could end up with chaos. We could clean house, or someone could clean house and then just take dictatorial control of the country and say, yeah, Constitution doesn't exist anymore. We've thrown it out, yada, yada, which would invite, of course, more chaos, more civil war, more partisan war, more strife, etc. That's a world that I don't think anyone wants to live in, because the factories will shut down. The food will stop. Everyone will get real hungry real fast. There's one thing that'll put the fear of death in everybody. It's hunger. Hunger is a time limit. You watch a football game, everything's fine in the first quarter. Second quarter ends, everyone kind of thinks about it. Oh, shit, it's half over. Get to the third quarter, you get into the fourth quarter. If you're losing, you're panicking. So that's 4 quarters, or let's just say 4 days. The average American has 3 days worth of food. If the lights go out, if they shut down the highway, shut down the bridges, shut down commerce, if there's a chaotic situation, it's kind of like the first half of a football game. You know it's serious. You know the players are there to win. And so they're scoring points. The first 2 days, everyone's like, yeah, this is, we're going to see if we can win this thing, right? We got this. We got this. And then 2 days is over, halftime. You're like, oh, shit. We're halfway there. We're in trouble. You start the second half of the football game. This is a football analogy, right? You get to the third quarter, the third day is over, you're out of food. You're out of food, and you got 4 days total, but you're out of food. Time is up. You get to that fourth day, the fourth quarter, and people are panicking. They're stupid. They're throwing everything they got at it, trying to find their next meal. Now you've got hunger. Hunger makes for people who are weak and scared, likely tired. They're going to be making bad decisions. And this is just on the local level. Imagine what the state government, federal government types are doing. Oh, I know they're supposed to have underground bunkers and underground cities with anywhere from, a year to 10 years worth of food all stockpiled. It's quite possible they have that and they all have access to it. Then again, it's quite possible that they don't. I guess they'll have to find out the hard way too. And what about all the civilians that know where that's at? Right? Interesting stuff. Mr. Uman, let's do another one from the crowd. It's been one hell of a show. Uman says, speaking of war on our soil, I heard that Trump is sending 3 destroyers off the coast of Venezuela. Ah, yes. Maduro is not happy and threatening big retaliation if the United States government uses the United States military to do anything. That's right. Right now, dictator Maduro of Venezuela is being accused of being a massive drug lord, drug trafficker, and the U.S. government's mad. So they put out a $50 million bounty for his arrest, and then Maduro put out a $50 million bounty for the unredacted Epstein client list as a slap to the face, and it was a hell of a slap. So the response to that was, wow, let's just send ships, naval ships, to Venezuela. So Maduro's not happy, and his big retaliation is he is going to deploy 4.5 million militia to counter the, quote, outlandish threats of the United States government. Well, in addition to the 3 destroyers that are offshore in Venezuela, apparently there's, 3, 4, or 5,000 troops are also on those ships or other ships in the general area. And that's the scary part. What do we have on those ships, folks? More than likely, United States Marines. The question is, what could be next? Is this a giant fucking false flag? Uman says there's plenty of military-age Venezuelans all over our country already. Right? That's that Trends de Uruguay group, right? That's their gang from Venezuela. It's already here. That was the one taking over apartment complexes and sections of towns in different cities across the country. Well, I'm more concerned, me personally, about what is going on down in Venezuela that's being done in our name. All of a sudden, Maduro is the bad guy. There is more fucking fentanyl coming out of Vancouver, Canada, than there is out of Mexico. But we're worried about Venezuela. Why? Venezuela has huge oil reserves, folks. But it's also difficult to get. And it takes a lot of refining. It's dirty. It's not good, high-quality oil. But still, oil nonetheless. Could that be it? Could it be all of the gold that's in Venezuela? It's quite possible also. We don't know, folks. We don't know what game they're playing because they're not telling us what comes next. We have to, as America First patriots, as preppers, we have to do our best to read the tea leaves, be prepared for anything, which is what we've done. Every emergency, whether it's from outer space or right down here on Earth, whether it's a local issue or whether it's a national and international issue, you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. The preparations work for every emergency, but it's up here, your plan and your understanding, that's going to help you get through it all, to be psychologically ready for what is coming. I tell you, You just never know. But for now, folks, thank you for letting me vent. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Great show today. Share with others. Share the internet address. Thumbs up. Subscribe. Support the message. And fight for your rights. Fight like your life depends on it. Well, because it does. It does depend on it. I'll see you guys all bright and early. 0 dark 30.